Hello everyone and welcome back to BA101. I am super excited to have you guys here with us today. I'm Bethany Shillett. I'm the recruiter here at Higher Dragons and back for more fun. So today we're actually going to be covering what your setup should look like or how to do a setup. So for a lot of brand new brand ambassadors or dragons, the setup can be a little bit unnerving. It can be kind of a dark spot that you're not quite sure what to do or how to handle it. So I just wanted to cover some basic setups that you can totally do, super easy, what tools you need, and also how to make sure that your setup is going to be successful and help you in the sales of your bottles. All right, so first, before I get any further, I do want to remind you that you are welcome to chat us up at any point. We do have people sitting by to help you answer any questions. So if you have any questions, throw it in the chat. We're happy to answer them for you. If you are watching this after the fact and you have questions, leave us a comment. We're excited to answer you there as well. And then also in the description, there is an email support at higherdragons.com that you can email us any questions you have there as well. Also, if you guys have any suggestions or want to know any information, if you're still not sure, like what's holding you up from taking the leap and getting started and making some extra cash with us, let me know in the comments, and we'll be happy to either make a video about it or address those personally. Also, make sure you check out the description below. There is a link to sign up. Super simple sign up process. So if you are ready to make that jump, make that leap, go ahead and sign up and we'll be happy to have you on board. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna go over a few setups. So your setups with us are on you. So we do not pay for your contractor toolkit. That's what we call it, or at least that's what I call it. So your contractor toolkit is basically what you're gonna be bringing to every single tasting that you need, your tools as a brand ambassador or a dragon. So some companies do provide these, but usually they're branded. So if you happen to have worked for another agency and you have some of these items, you can totally use them with us as long as they're not branded. So totally check that out. Make sure you know what you have and what to bring. We do have a document called our SOP that has a really awesome checklist that has all of these items listed out and a few comfort items as well that will be given to you during your onboarding process. So if you don't have to take notes or anything unless you want to. But some basic setups. So number one, you're gonna need a table. So you can totally do a few different tables. This is about as big as I suggest you go. Any bigger and you're gonna be running into aisles, blocking flows, and stores are gonna get a little bit upset because then maybe you're running into fire codes or ADA specifications or anything like that. So this is, I believe, about a 4-foot table. So you really don't want to go any bigger than 4 feet. Alternatively, I like to actually bring this little guy with me to most of my tastings. So this guy just kind of lives in my car and super simple to throw together, and it fits at the end of an end cap. So most of you, if you have any experience at all being a brand ambassador, or if you've been in any kind of store that does sampling, like so one or more specs or whatever, and you're like, this lady is crazy, why are you bringing tables? They have barrels. Yes, sometimes you'll have a spot for a barrel and that's fantastic, you won't need your table. But sometimes they may not, especially during busy season at the end of the year, they may not actually have a barrel for you. Or if you're running a little bit behind, you might actually get a barrel in the wine department when you're doing a whiskey. And then you're trying to sell whiskey to wine people. And that's not going to be very easy for you. It's going to add an extra hurdle to try and get over. So in those cases, a lot of times you can ask the store and say, hey, I have my table. Can I just go set up over here? Most of the time they're okay with that, but always ask to make sure. We want to make sure that our store relationships are solid and we're not going over anything that's going to make the store uncomfortable. But like I said, this tiny little guy, like 20 bucks from Walmart or something like that, is really all you need. And it's barely wider than I am, and I'm pretty wide right now. So it's about just the basics of what you need. But if you want to do a little bit more with your table and have more bottles that you can sell, which I totally recommend, go with at least a 3 to 4 foot table. And you're going to want a tablecloth. So black is easiest. And guys, this isn't even a tablecloth. This is a sheet. This is a bed sheet. So super cheap. And if your kids are like mine, they don't use a top sheet. So any bedding you have, you might have one of these laying around. But yes, black is always going to be best. It's going to elevate your product. It's going to make the product stand out, and it's not really going to be any like distractions or anything like that. Now, what you don't want with your tablecloth is anything that's going to be branded. You don't want anything that's going to appeal to children, so like cartoon characters or anything like that. You don't want anything that's going to take away from the product, right? So if it's Super Bowl weekend, please don't bring your favorite sports team. We want to remain neutral. So black is usually simplest, easiest. Try to make sure it's not wrinkled. This one came out of the laundry basket, sat in the laundry basket for too long, but try to make sure your stuff is always clean, looks nice and presentable. Now, you can also use this on your barrels or your tasting spots as well to kind of dress it up. So if you're in a line of 4 vodkas and they're just using their barrel, but you have a nice cover or a nice display, it's going to elevate your vodka and it's going to make your job easier. People are going to be more attracted to you. They're going to take your product more seriously, all that fun stuff. So feel free that even if you're not using an actual table and you're using your barrel or your tasting spot, feel free to bring a cover. Lamar, co-founder of our company, he likes to actually bring Mexican blankets when he's doing like a tequila. So a little pop of color, something fun and something cultural that's going to draw people in. And you can layer this and make it look super nice. Just kind of throw it on there and boom. Now you have a much more festive table and it's going to be more in line with the product you're working with, which is very important. So always design your table to the product you're working with. You can also do this if you're doing kind of a fun party drink or party brand. So for your ice bucket, if you're doing a fun party brand, you might bring a colorful ice bucket. If you're doing a serious brand and maybe serving with ice, you might want to bring something more nice. Like this is a glass bowl. It's kind of hard to see, kind of weird to see. Or a decorative or an actual ice bucket out of a bartending kit. So if you are doing something super fancy, like I have this Uncle Nearest vodka or whiskey here. So maybe you're gonna want to take away some of the color, put some nice stuff on there and keep it nice and pretty and keep it plain so that the whiskey is elevated and you can show, because this is a quite expensive whiskey, higher price point. So you're gonna want your display to be a little bit more higher, classy, more business. But if you're doing a party brand, put this over here and not break it. You're gonna wanna maybe have some color, so switch out your tablecloth. I use this purple one when I'm doing party brands. I don't even always layer it over my black one, but just because we're doing things fast here, a pop of color always works. I've got my pop of color ice bucket that can fit all my cans in, and then I'm going to have it displayed in my bucket to make sure that it looks great. And then I'm going to bring extra product and put it all over my table, all over the ground, make sure that it's bright, it's beautiful. And then of course, I am going to have my P&P because I'm a dragon. I'm not just a brand ambassador, so I am going to have my P&P out, ready to go, and I'm actually going to be using it in my sales process talking to people, showing them what the product is, and talking about the product and having them get excited and pull them in. So again, our dragon engagement model, if you guys remember, is have a great hook, which gets them excited before they approach you. Have a great story, which all of our brands do, so tell it, and then have that emotional close. Having that emotional close, one, they're already invested in the product because you brought them into the story. And then two, two, they're going to be more apt to walk all the way through the checkout line with that product if they're emotionally attached to it. So bringing into that emotion is what dragons do best. So also I wanted to cover sample cups. So I don't have any of the small ones on hand. This is about as big as I'll go. This is a 2-ounce cup, and you do not want to go any bigger than 2 ounces. You're really only pouring 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce, depending on what you're pouring. And you don't want to make sure, like 1/2 ounce in a 2-ounce cup doesn't really look like much product at all. So you really want to make sure that your cups also match what you're pouring. So if I was doing the Uncle Nearest whiskey, I would want definitely 1-ounce cups. So if I pour 1/2 ounce, they actually feel like they're getting something. It would be like barely the bottom of this. And also you don't want to over pour on accident, because then that would be against your state certifications, or your TABC or TIPS or whatever it's called in your state. Also, if I'm doing a party brand, I'm bringing a tiny little party cup. So you can totally find fun little tasting cups and stuff that match. I also have like these neon colored shot glasses that I like to bring as well for my party brands and everything like that. So if I'm also doing a beer, color is always really important to showcase. So I'm not gonna bring my party cups, even though it'll be really fun and you're drinking a beer out of a party cup, but I want them to be able to see the color really, really well. So I'm going to look for a clear sample cup to make sure I can show the beautiful color of the beer and talk about the color and everything like that, and have that part of my sales process. So that's pretty much it. Also, if you are working at a grocery store, go grab a plant. Like, you can totally do that. Whatever you need to do to dress up your display, make sure it's going well, and make sure it's attractive, and you're going to be representing that brand great and excellent, because that's what we do. That's our whole job. So you want to make sure that your display looks great, and that it matches the product that you're pouring, and all the way down to the sample cups. Those tiny little details are going to be so important for you. One last thing I wanted to give you guys a heads up on: when you are doing samples, this is kind of like a bonus thing. It's really nice. When you are doing samples, presentation matters, just like this whole thing. So you pour a little bit when you're talking about it, and then you want to present it like this. So you don't have that awkward like handoff. You're not holding the rim of the cup where they're going to be putting their mouth on it. That's gross, even if your hands are clean. You know, like this is like an awkward handoff. Cups are small, especially this is a big cup and this is difficult. You're going to be having even smaller cups, and it's like this tiny little weird awkward handoff. So into the fingers and just hold it out to them, and it's a great presentation, so that they can just pick it up and enjoy the product and take it home. So that is all I've got for you guys today. If you have any more questions about setups or anything else, like I said, feel free to comment, chat us up, email us, whatever it is, and then make sure you come back next time and check out more videos. I've got a lot of back videos that you guys can go check out as well. And as always, I hope this helps, and I hope to see you guys soon in orientation. So have a great night, and thank you very much. Bye.